dumb luck. You can't just avoid this violence and this shit out in these streets.
You show me you're a soldier in a army. You're smoother than the cream when me pour it on my coffee. Anything you need me now for search.
Stolen.
Your phone?
Got my phone stolen. Couldn't check into shifts at work. Went to replace my phone, and my credit card has been compromised. So then they said, well, I said, well, okay, well, tell me what charges are on it that you think maybe are compromised. I'll tell you whether they're mine or not, and we'll figure this out. They said, well, we need to send a text to your phone. I said, I'm at the phone store trying to buy a new phone, and you declined my card. And when I called you up and you said it's because you think it's been compromised. How are you going to send a text to my phone? Well, if we can't send a text to your phone, we can't identify it's you, so there's nothing we can do. So what exactly do I do at this point? Well, nothing. So my option is, well, we could email you a link and you can send a copy of your credit card. Problem is, my phone got stolen. Realize if I try to get into my email from a different device, what does Gmail do?
Secondary identification.
Secondary identification. Send a text to the phone to verify it's me logging in from a different device.
So
can't get into my email either.
Why weren't you able to get a phone though?
Because my credit card they said was compromised. I used it the day before. I used it that morning, and then I was at the cell phone store, went to buy a phone, and they declined the card, and I was like, well, I know there's plenty of money on the card. I don't know what the problem would be. When I called the credit card company, they said, we think your card's been compromised. We need to send you a text to verify it's you. I'm standing at the cell phone store going, I'm at the cell phone store. That's where the card got declined in the first place. I'm trying to get a new phone. So, well, we can send you an email. Well, I can't log in from one of their devices because Gmail does the same thing. Gmail will send a text to the phone to verify it's me, so I can't get in the email.
Yeah, every corporation does it, really.
Yeah. So then what I end up stuck with is, my next option is, I have to find a fax machine and send them fax of all things. I gotta find a fax machine, and I gotta send them a copy of the front and the back of my driver's license, and they said it would take 1 to 10 business days to process that, to verify that it's even me and get back in touch with me and let me talk to them to unlock the credit card. So in the meantime, I'm out of phone, I'm out of credit card, I can't check into work, I can't check in for my shifts, got dinged out of work, everything else. The bank has everything locked up, waiting for all this stuff, you know, so now all my accounts, everything locked up. And so, shit, I didn't even, you know, got roommates that figured, well, shit, he ain't even paying rent. Next thing you know, it's just, it happens like that. If you walk around and you talk to enough people out here, you're gonna find out there's a whole lot of people. I'm college educated. I've owned companies and stuff, and you'd be surprised. I was sitting down here at the healthcare center with a social worker a couple, 2-3 days ago, with a professor from University of Washington who's single. He got robbed out in front of the Stratosphere. They got his phone, they got his wallet, and so his ID, everything's gone. He's homeless. He's sitting down here at the courtyard talking to a caseworker trying to figure out what to do. Bank won't talk to him. Even friends can't send him money. Can't send him money. He's got no ID. He can't even go to Western Union.
And he from Washington State or DC?
No, University of Washington professor. I sat right in the healthcare center with him while waiting to talk to counselors, social workers. and sitting right next to a university professor who got robbed down at the Stratosphere, who's now sitting down there, that can't stay at the hotel, credit cards gone, IDs gone, phones gone, everything, laptop, everything.
So is he from out of state?
Yeah, he's from the University of Washington. He's a professor.
Where's the University of Washington at? Is it in DC or Washington State?
No, the University of Washington's in Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah.
That's Washington State.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a university professor sitting right down here, sitting in the same thing because he got robbed, and he's got access to nothing. Bank won't, you know, his phone's gone, credit cards are gone, debit cards are gone, wallet, everything out of a hotel. Can't even, you know, calling friends going, hey, can you send me some money? And they're like, well, yeah. And he's stuck going, but I don't have any ID. I can't go to MoneyGram or what, you know, whoever, and even pick up money because I got no ID to even tell them that I should be picking the money up. He's standing down there at a complete loss. University professor.
How long you been on the street?
That when I was talking to him, it had just happened the night before. What happened to him since, I don't know. But he was stuck sitting right down here, down at the courtyard, down talking to a caseworker, trying to figure out what to do. Goes from staying at the Strat, standing out in front of the Strat, to getting robbed at gunpoint, lost everything, sitting right down here with the rest of the homeless people, talking to a caseworker, trying to figure out what the hell to do.
All right.
Stuck, just trapped. Didn't have any idea what to do or how to get out of the situation. Just sitting right along with it, just like any of these other people. University professors sitting right alongside the rest of them.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I heard people from all walks of life be out here, man.
Oh yeah.
They have different stories. Different experiences.
You could end up homeless like that. And the quickest way to end up in trouble, and this is the second time it's happened to me, the quickest way to have it happen to you is to get robbed, come up missing your phone and your IDs, get robbed out in the streets of Vegas, and you're done. Your money's gone. The bank won't talk to you. Your cell phone's gone. You can't get into email. You can't do anything. You can't, even if you contact friends to help, they're like, okay, well, I'll help, but what can I do? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Drive to Vegas and bring me some money.
Yeah, or fly to Vegas, man.
Fly to Vegas and bring me money. Or fly to Vegas and pick me up.
Something gotta happen, because you get him a Greyhound ticket, you know?
Yeah, but even then, go to the Greyhound station to pick up the ticket. They're like, well, you got an ID? No. Well, then we can't just hand you a ticket. Who are you? How do we know the ticket belongs to you?
That's crazy.
Can't get on a flight.
Definitely not.
Can't, you know, even if somebody bought you a plane ticket, that didn't do you no good. You ain't getting through the airport.
You need identification.
You literally, that poor guy literally almost needs somebody literally to come to Vegas, to drive to Vegas from Seattle and pick him up and take him home.
Or somebody from Washington knows somebody out here, some kind of connection, third party, fourth party, or something like that, a trustee where they could act on their behalf, you know what I mean?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that would be the easiest route.
If you've got something like that. But that's what I mean is there's an amazing amount of circumstances people don't realize that could happen like that.
So being out here, let me ask you, is it dangerous being out here on the street at nighttime? Like, because I would imagine you have like very different personalities.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, the professor.
Yeah.
You got the regular homeless that's on drugs.
Yeah.
You know
No. And so if you look at this side of the street right here, this is that is a hazardous place to be. Like when I come out, I'll come out and sit in the evening, have a beer, you know, just kill some time. Just because I just don't want to sit down in the courtyard in the middle of hundreds of people doing nothing anyway. But Yeah, it gets real dangerous out here. This side of the street over here is kind of a crowd that is there and tends to be there, and the most damage and the most problems and the most things, you know, the most crap that goes on.
What kind of problems?
All just violence and theft, and then the other thing that you have too is you've got groups of people that for fun think it's fun to terrorize homeless people, so they'll literally drive down the street and throw rocks and shit out of their cars at people.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, just for fun. They'll shoot people.
Really?
Oh yeah, they got gangs that, like, there's gangs that, it hasn't happened like very recently, but there's like gang initiations where you basically, your initiation is to drive down Homelessville and shoot a few people and film it and take it back to the gang and show them what you did.
I never heard about that one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So what's the daily life like for you, for these people? Not just for yourself, but you know, for the homeless community.
It's a whole lot of absolutely nothing. And
I realize the resources and the facility that has been put in place is not sufficiently enough to, you know, adequately serve each individual depending on the nature of their situation.
If you're homeless and you're going to get out of being homeless, you're going to have to put in a lot of effort and a lot of work to dig your way out of that, because they just don't have the resources.
On the family.
Yeah.
What year were you born?
63.
63. I was going to say 64 or 63. Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the president? Reagan or?
Oh, I don't know. When I was born,
JFK died.
JFK was shot literally within days of my birth.
Your birth. Right.
I can't remember his exact date, but I mean literally within. He was shot within like a week of when I was born.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, when I was a kid, everybody in the town that I grew up in.
Where were you born, matter of fact?
I was born in California.
Oh, Cali.
Yeah.
Okay.
I grew up in Washington, but I was born in California. But when I was a kid, everybody in the town I lived in, every family, regardless of what job the parents had, or you know what dad did or whatever,
yeah,
every family could provide for themselves. Every family had a home, had a car, and could provide for themselves
adequately.
And now it's got to the point where you got people,
But what happened?
Two people both working. You know, a guy and a gal, husband and wife, both working jobs, and still can hardly pay the bills and afford a house.
What happened over time?
It just everything got outrageously expensive. To give you an example, when my dad got out of college, his first job out of college. This is my dad. His first job out of college was, his salary was, he told me, was $18,000 a year. When he first graduated, his first job, his salary was $18,000 a year. Well, you could buy a new car for $3,000. You could buy a house for $25,000, and his salary was, you know, $18,000 a year. I graduated from college. 26 years later, my first salary out of college, $18,500 a year. Except now a house in Seattle costs $280,000 and a new car is $30,000. And my salary is the same as my dad's was 26 years ago when he got out of college. except the cost of everything is 10 times.
But that's inflation, though.
Yeah, except what happened is wages in no way have kept up with inflation. Certain, you know, if you've got the right job and you right career and you're in the right spot, yeah, you do well, and you know, you can pay for things. But the average person just working an average job these days can't afford a house and car payments and insurance and kids, and they just can't. It just, the average salary these days just does not pay those bills.
No doubt, no doubt.
It just doesn't. The math isn't there. It's not what it used to be. And the one thing is, I'm not exactly sure what you do about it, because what happens is, it's like they say that the middle class has been chopped out. You've got a lower class that's struggling big time.
No, you got the rich and the poor. There's no middle class.
And the middle class, there's still a middle class.
But not like China. Because when the manufacturing sector left America to Asia, to the Eastern Hemisphere, most will go to China. Most will go to Shanghai. Shanghai was a fishing village in the 60s, 70s coming up. Now it's a big metropolis. Yeah. One of the biggest cities in the world. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So the middle class, China is already maxing out its middle class sector. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And our middle class has just... It basically transferred. Yeah. The jobs. It went from the industries. Yeah, it went from here to there. Right. And our middle class and our manufacturing jobs and things like that. To give you an example. To give you an example, I grew up in a logging town, and they used to have mills where they would log the trees, bring the trees, then they'd go to the mills, and then they'd, you know, turn them into 2x4s, and they'd mill all the wood. Yeah. Well, they figured out it was cheaper to get rid of the mills, and the mills supplied a lot of really good middle-class jobs in that community. Mm-hmm. A lot of them, the whole community. I mean, half the community was like solid, good benefits. Good solid mill, you know, good jobs, like union type jobs, benefits, and everything. And what ended up happening, they found out it was cheaper to have boats from Asia come into the port, and they would put all the logs on the boats. And no, the boats would go out into international waters, and the boats were mills themselves. Inside the boat was a mill. So they put all the logs on the boat. Yeah. They take the boat out into international waters, mill all the wood, bring it back into the port, and sell it back to us. And all the mills closed. And so they literally took a whole middle class right out of the community. Shut all the mills. The whole industry died right there. Yeah, killed the whole industry. Yeah. Whole industry went right out the window when they figured out it was cheaper. In the Rust Belt down south, you know, they had like a lot of factories and stuff like that. Yeah. A lot of assembly lines. But all, you know, like you're saying, it went overseas. Yeah. And where was the protectionism at that point? Because nowadays, you know, you hear that word get thrown around a lot in the media, protectionism, which ain't bad, but still, you know, I feel like it's conveniently, you know, applied. Yeah. When you know what I mean? Yeah. Because a lot of people would say the American empire is what it does is it sounds good in theory. It sounds really good, but really what it means is when somebody says protectionism and things like that, what they mean, like a Fortune 500 company, when they say, hey, you guys really should stop buying stuff, you know, and having your stuff made in China, what they really mean is you guys, not us. We're still going to have our stuff made in China, but you guys, the rest of you should stop doing that.
they all want everybody else to chip in and do their part, except they're all pointing the finger at each other saying your company ought to stop having stuff made in China and have it made in the US. Except all these big companies are all pointing to each other, telling each other this is what you ought to do, except they're all still doing the same thing.
Yeah, the manufacturing sector is definitely need to come back.
Yeah.
And stay.
Yeah. And that's what, you know, that's at least what Trump's trying to do with tariffs and everything else.
Yeah,
say, you know,
short-term pain, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be painful for a little
it
while.
Is.
But
because the survival is necessary.
Yeah. The problem is there's become too big a gap between, you know, the middle class has been wiped out. The cost of everything is too high. There's just too big a gap and too wide a gap of everything. It's just kind of a mess out there.
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing too. What I don't understand is you can blame Trump on this one too. Is you hear politics, you hear everybody talking about immigration, throwing everybody out of the country, doing this, doing that, tariffs, this, that, and this and that. The one thing you don't hear a word about is homeless.
Hey, I didn't get your name.
CJ.
CJ.
Yeah, see this kind of stuff?
Hey CJ, man, I'm gonna tap out. Usually I walk with some cash, man, but today I ain't got none. I should be able to.
Yeah, you don't gotta worry about that.
Nah, but look, I'm gonna be bouncing back and forth. So hopefully I run into you if you haven't got off your feet and get up out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But usually I walk with cash, man. I give like $5 in an interview. This is more than an interview. This is more than what I was expecting. Well, I'm gonna tap in with you sometime next week.
See what I'm talking about here? Oh, this is day and night, brother.